these people have worked under that premise. Every ton of coal that was mined would go into a retirement pension plan. Every contract they've had in the UMWA, and usually back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, up to the 70s and even early 80s, most anyone who mined coal was a member of the UMWA. Things did change. We're dealing with something now. We have what we call an AML fund, Abandoned Mine Land Fund. And that fund there, I had a piece of legislation, which I have co-sponsors all sitting here with me in the Senate, both Sherrod and Rob. And this piece of legislation was the Miners Protection Act. That legislation did not ask for a bailout, did not ask for a loan. We were able to take care of that, but because of politics, that thing was split. The baby was split in two. We got to miners' health care. If we'd have had this fixed at that time, we wouldn't be sitting here. We'd be sitting here helping everybody else. But it didn't get done because of the toxicity that we live in Washington, D.C. Now we're sitting here needing almost $4 billion in loans just for the miners, and it's growing exponentially. So we've got to do something. Here's the other thing about that. Most of my miners' pensions are going to widows. Their husbands have passed on. And the average pension is $582. Think about that. I know we've talked about $1,600, and you've talked $582. Think what that does to them. This is what we're dealing with. I mean, we're going to destroy people's lives, and we're just not going to sit here and let it happen. I'm going to ask you all a few questions because I need to get your temperament. I need to know where your minds are right now, because you're going to have to pull all of us together. You're going to have to pull us together as Americans. Forget about being a Democrat and Republican. You know, we're on the same team here. We got to figure this one out. This one could take us down quicker and faster and harder than anything that's faced the United States since the Great Depression. I truly believe that. And I see it. I see this train wreck coming. I see the light in the tunnel, and it is sure as hell not the daylight on the other side. It's the train coming right at us. So here's what I would ask you. Do you believe the pension disaster that we're facing was caused by politics? And we'll go down the line. Do you believe it was caused by politics or just by the market?
I will address some of that.
Well, we'll start here then, Mr. Walton. Just real quick, do you think it was?
Yes.
Okay.
Our pension.
So Democrats and Republicans both to blame?
Yes.
Or if you...
A couple things concern me about the question you asked.
I've got a couple more, so I'm going to ask if I can as quickly as possible, because I got to get a feeling where you are. But you believe politics played a part in this?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Sloan?
Yes, I do.
If you're talking about finding a solution, absolutely it did.
I mean, to cause the problem that we're facing.
Well, that's true, yes.
Okay. Mr. Gardner?
I would say no.
Okay. Ms. Dell?
Myself, I don't like to point fingers at anybody or anything. And so on that note...
You don't think it was a political problem?
I think it was everything all mixed together.
I got you. Mr. Martin?
I would say partially. You know, there have been so many attempts to fix pension problems.
Well, I could sit here and talk about bankruptcy laws and everything else that kind of contributed to it. My goodness, we let people walk away from their obligations, and ever sudden, who's left holding the bag? Those of you last man standings, holding the bag. Absolutely. So those were political decisions that were made in the 80s. So, but here it's about a 50-50. So let me ask this. Do you believe that your union or your company is responsible for the possible loss of your pension? Do you blame it on your union or your business decisions or people that came before you? I'll start with you, Mr. Martin.
No, I don't blame this on the Teamsters Union.
Okay.
I don't blame this on Spangler Candy.
And that's what Rich has said. Okay, we're seeing the same. But I just got to get a temperament here.
No.
You're not blaming on your unions?
No.
That you're not blaming yourself for not putting more in, or you've already put enough in? So you're not hearing that. That's not it?
No.
Okay. Mr. Gardner?
Senator, I would say that we have a bipartisan effort every day in our company between the union people and the management to succeed every day.
Gotcha.
No.
I would say, through my research, the largest reason that I see this is legislation that allowed the unions not to mess with the pension plans. So they were kind of forced in a way to be blamed. That makes sense.
Yep.
I personally believe there was possibly a little bit of fault on each side of the fence.
Okay.
But I think one major issue was wasn't that long ago, I believe in the 90s, every pension fund in this country had billions of dollars in excess.
Everything that you all have said is everything that Rich evaluated here, because he was saying no one's sitting here responsible, no one's blaming anybody, everybody wants to fix. So I think I would ask this final question. Here we are, representing the federal government. We work for you. Do you believe that the government, federal government, should be involved in helping to fix the challenges that we have? And we're not talking about bailouts. We're talking about absolutely a commitment and a loan, believing in the people of America. Now, I'm asking from business to labor.
Yes.
Business, yes.
Yes.
100% yes.
Business, labor, business, labor.
Since 1946, the federal government has found a way to fix the mine workers' problem until now.
And we had a
Yes.
way. We still have a way to fix that one,
Yes.
but we're trying to help all of our brothers, all the working people. Okay, I got you.
That's the solution we're absolutely looking for.
I feel the same, that solution.
So this is not political. You're basically thinking that Democrats and Republicans, we got to fix this thing. And here we're sitting as Democrats and Republicans. And you're asking for a loan program. You're not asking for a ballot and change some of the regulations. Got you.
Thank you, Senator Manchin. Congressman Scott, welcome.
Mr. Chairman, do you anticipate